Hey, good evening, everyone. Another Tuesday evening for Tuesday's Thoughts. I hope that your Christmas has gone well. I know on a personal level, there's quite a few folks whose Christmas has been not good at all. It's the first one without a loved one, or it may be the last Christmas for a loved one. So it's not been the easiest of times, but I hope somehow you've been able to kind of get through it. So we'll be starting any moment now. It's going to be a very short one today, no more than 20 minutes. If we get to 20 minutes, I'm going to stop. But tonight is New Year's resolution. Again, try this approach. So I just want to say a quick hello to those of you that are watching. I'm going to assume that things are going okay. New Year's resolution, there's this mad rush, isn't there, every single year of this new resolution, and folks are all manner of things are happening. Good evening, Sonia, and good evening, sound engineer. Thank you for your input. So, my name is Delroy Hall. I'm a trained counsellor, trainer, and teacher. Have been for over 30 years now. So, welcome for live, and those if you're watching on catch up, also welcome. Thank you for taking the time out. So, here we have the end of the year 2023. In fact, I've been thinking that this time is possibly the worst time to be thinking of a New Year's resolution. We're distracted, parties, late nights, early hours of the morning, and then by the time you've breathed, you're back to work again. So how can you possibly do something that's life-changing when you don't even have time to think? And I just think it's actually the worst time to be doing a New Year's resolution. I get the idea, I understand it, but I think December the 31st is not a good time. So in terms of New Year's resolution, I think we need to be intentional about it. So I'm going to give you a quote. I'm going to develop this quote. So I promise you I'm not going to be more than 20 minutes. So the quote is, the feeling is often the deeper truth, the opinion, the more superficial one. It's a quote I use when I do inclusive leadership training and I do training around racial harassment and EDI type of thing, that feelings are really, really important, but what we do, we dismiss them. I think life could be much better, but I want to say something about that. Oh, yes. Thank you, Magdalena. Yes. Nightco, I think that's what it is. Nico, yeah. So thank you very much indeed. Thank you for your well wish for 2024. Yeah. So I think so. There's this quote: "The feeling is often the deeper truth, the opinion the more superficial one." The feelings are saying something to us. You would have heard me say this before. A quote by Susan David, psychologist: "Emotions are data. It's saying something. It's trying to get our attention. It's telling us something. It's inviting us into inquiry. But what we do, we sweep it under the carpet." Please, if you find this useful, share with a friend, subscribe and like. Let folks know that this is not the best time to be doing New Year's resolution. I think sometimes you should be doing it in January. January should be used for something else, but I'll lead to that in a bit. So one of the things we need to do, if we're going to be effective, is learn to be still. Learn to be still and learn to listen to ourselves. We cannot do any significant change if we do not learn to be still and learn to listen to ourselves. Christmas time is the worst time, as I've said before. I recall, good evening, Jeff, and anyone else who's watching and silently watching, thank you very much for taking the time to do so. I recall when I was in hospital 5 years ago, and I was in hospital for 3 days with chronic stress, the whole range of stuff that happened at the time. And I acknowledged to my friends, I needed those 3 days to be still. So I know that if I was at home, I would be pottering around, I would be doing this, doing that. I needed those 3 days to be still. It was medicine for me. And yes, indeed. Oh my gosh, you're giving the secrets away, Ellen. Yes, look forward to seeing you on Friday. Just confirm the time. So we need to listen to ourselves, and we need to be still. Christmas time is not the best time. So this is what I want to, as an idea. Good evening, Norma, and anyone else who's watching. There's something called the body scan. And the body scan is a mindfulness technique whereby you're still. close your eyes or you avert your gaze to the floor, and starting from your head, you kind of do a scan of your entire body, the top of your head. Your ears is a tension in the top of your head, is a tension behind your ears, and it's about relaxing. Is there tension in your jaw? Relax even further. Do you have tension that's held in your neck and your shoulders? It's a 10-15 minutes scan. Be noticeable where there might be an ache or a pain or where you're holding tension, and you stay at that point and you relax it. And over a period of time, as I said, 10-15 minutes, by the time you get to your feet, you're completely relaxed. If you're falling asleep, it means you're too tired. That's what it really means. Oh, excuse me a second. My battery's just going. I normally have my lead plugged in. Here we go. So 10-15 minutes, a body scan, our entire bodies, to find out where the pinch points are, where the aches and pains. I'd like to shift the idea a little bit to not just a scan of our bodies, but maybe a scan of our year. See, I'm of the opinion when we do these New Year's resolution, we do them from our head, cerebral. It's an external motivation. And I think over a couple of weeks and they're gone. I tell you this, I go to the gym and I tell you this, I kid you not, the first 2 weeks, the gym is packed. And then by week 3 and week 4, everything's back to normal. You see more people in the gym you've never seen before. They pay for year subscription. First 2 weeks, absolutely busy. And then by week 3, week 4, everything is back to normal. A lot of the resolutions has been external motivators, but I am convinced that our internal motivator, our internal voices, is what we should be listening to and not the external stuff. But we're so busy, we don't get a chance to listen to what's happening internally. So this is just a couple of ways you can do your kind of year scan. You can get your diary. So what you do, get your diary for 2024. Over the next couple of weeks, in first 2 weeks in January, mark out some time where you go through your diary of 2023, spend time with it, flicking through the pages. What was good? What was difficult? And as you go through some of the events, where there's some pinch points, you might have forgotten them, but now you're reflecting on them. There were some pinch points. There was a pinch point in February. There's a pinch point in April, in June, July. You've missed it. But as you sit back and you look through the diary, you recognize there's themes coming along in the year and you've missed them. So spend time in silence, reflecting, thinking about the last year. So questions like, what was good about last year? What was difficult about last year? What were some pinch points? Where were there some good relationships? Where were there some difficult relationships? And we keep doing this. And here's some questions just to help us with the process. What went well? How have I grown? What did I learn in the last year? What things in 2023 I don't want to bring into 2024? We can't answer those questions if we're on the hoof, if we're busy or distracted. We really do need to take the time to be still, to quiet our minds, maybe get away from the home, or we do something early in the morning, or we do something the last thing at night before we go to bed, before we're too tired, or you mark something out in the diary that maybe at the lunchtime you go to a quiet place at the canteen, you go to a coffee shop with a pad for half an hour, 45 minutes. You should be taking your lunch anyway. Or you literally create the space in the first couple of weeks of January, maybe the first 3 weeks, to reflect intentionally on 2023. I kid you not, 2023 will have left clues that you can use to develop and to move forward in your life. Are there any emerging themes? And if there are, they were missed at the time, what can you do about them? And so these questions are really important. Good evening, Tina. Good to see you this evening. So please, as I said, this is going to be a short one this evening, but this whole thing about New Year's resolution, I want you to consider this approach. Slow it down. Don't make the resolution for December the 31st. Possibly make the resolution for January the 31st, where you've had a month to sit intentionally with it and to do something different. I'll be honest with you, I've not done New Year's resolution for decades. I've not done it at all. I don't. It's not that. No, it's never worked for me. But what I have done, either I've made changes intentionally, or a crisis has happened where I've had to make a change. And quite often, as I said before, and those of you that may be listening live on catch up, when we've had a crisis, if we step back long enough, we can look and see when the crisis began as a murmur, began as a thought. We ignore the thought, and over a period of time, we could see there were significant checkpoints where this thought became louder, our body started to react, and we knew that's what we should have been doing. So Tina says, I make New Year's goals and wait for a bit. I achieve all my goals and I review. Absolutely. Yeah, make them, wait for a bit, review. Yeah, that reviewing is really important. I'm going to say a little bit about that in a moment. Thank you for that. It's really important. So for some people, the New Year's stuff does work, but I'll be saying to you, New Year's resolution, December the 31st, when you've had too much to drink, not a good idea to be making such resolutions when when you might be feeling sweet or feeling a bit nice, when you've had a wine or two, a bit too relaxed. So it could work for some people, like for Tina, it does work, but maybe you make the goal and then you wait for a bit. And I'd be saying to you, if you want to be really intentional about it, first 2 or 3 weeks in January, set your stall out. Make that month the month to decide what I'm going to do for the next year. Now, a year might be too much, but you might want to look at goals in 3 months, or even a month, or even a week, or even a day. Sometimes the year is just too much for people. And certainly the last few years since COVID, I think the year for lots of people is just too much to consider because so much can go wrong. And maybe 3 months is more manageable. And then you get to near 3 months and then you kind of go again. Or you then look over the year too far. But you know what? How can I break this 1 year goal down into 3 or 4 chunks that I can deal with? And then what do I need to do on a small basis? So some of you would have heard me talk about, James Clear, written this excellent book called Atomic Habits. And he says this, look, and I'm using this for the New Year's resolution. It could be anything. This is where you are. This is where you need to get to. But the gap is too big. It's just too big. You can't do it in one leap. But you can, if you make small incremental changes, you're persistent and you continue with it. Small changes over time lead to great results. So maybe there's something about, it's usually the things that losing weight, getting fit. Listen, if you've not been in the gym for 20, 30 years, you can't do an hour session 4 or 5 times a week. You could maybe in 6 months' time, but you can't on the 3rd of January. Your body, in fact, your body will be so poor. The pain itself of that will put you off. And one of the things I want to say, that your goals, whatever you want to do for the next year, they must inspire you. They must inspire you to keep going. Now then, let's have a look at this. Sonia says, would it be best to start now? Right, absolutely. Start now rather than waiting for the new year. Thinking about the new can be daunting. Would it be best to see January 1st as just another? Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Yeah, so you don't need to start December 31st or December January the 1st. You can start now. Now, some of you may be at partying every night with friends every night, and this may be not the best time. But if you've got some quiet time between now and December the 31st, I'd say start putting some ideas together. And listen, it's not about having goals. It could be, I might say to you, look, you look through your diary, and there might be 3 or 4 things that have come up, themes, and I would just say to you, listen, prioritize your themes with number 1 and prioritize them with the first one. If you spend the next 3 months intelligently, diligently, persistently, which of these four things that have emerged, these things that have emerged, if you spend time on one of them over the next 3 or 4 months, which one will make the significant difference in your life? You can't do it all at the same time, but you just do one thing and you work at it consistently for every day, and you track what you do. So I remembered when I was an athlete, I had a coach who would give me the schedule, what I was meant to do as an athlete, and I knew that Tuesdays and Thursdays I would meet him and he would ask me, how did the sessions go when we weren't together? So I couldn't make up any excuses. I had to give him how it went, and he would question me. This was a level of accountability. It developed discipline. It was really important. So track your activities. Too many goals. Hang on. Too many goals. How many? Oh, right. Okay. Yes. How many goals? According to Benjamin Hardy, it says if you have more than 3 goals, you don't have any goals at all. 3 goals, focus really, really well for the next year, can make a substantial difference in your life. It could be diet, it could be health, it could be your weight, it could be finances, it could be spending more time in stillness. You might think, Delroy, this stillness business, isn't it a waste of time? No. If you're somebody who's a creator, developer, the stillness is really important for new ideas, things that you can do. There's I can't remember the name now. There's a book called The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. And he talks about a woman who started off a hardware company, and within, I think, less than 10 years, she had 5 or 6. And the question was asked, how did you get 5 or 6 in less than 10 years? What she did, she kept a little notebook with her. And when she had ideas, she jotted the ideas in a notebook. And then what she would do on Thursdays, she would sit with the list and think through all the things that she wrote down in the book. And those that she didn't think were credible now, she then put it to one side, and she focused on the one where there was some flexibility, there was some give, and that's how she got her the five hardware stores within, I think it was less than 10 years. So we get ideas all the time, and you know what ideas are like. Sometimes you get them and they go just like that. But if you keep a book, a small book in your purse, in your back pocket, in your blazer pocket, keep a pen, a little pad, just write down the idea, date it, write down the idea, and one day a week, you then look at some of the ideas and see what's workable, what's doable, and then start building on it. And it could be you've set the goal and you're thinking of the subsets, what you can do, having your little book whilst you're traveling to work or whilst you're at work, and there's a moment where you're daydreaming, your mind is just gone, you get an idea, you can't progress it while you're at workplace, but you can write it down in a notebook, and when you get home you can start looking at it and build it into the plan what you have. So your question, Tina, no more than 3. If you have more than 3, Benjamin Hardy said you got no goals at all. So track your activities. James Clear said don't miss more than 2 days. So because what you want to do, you want to get it to a habit so it becomes natural. You're not having to think about it. So I swim, and I don't really need to think about it now. I know that 4 times a week I'm in the pool. I kid you not. If you ask me, Delroy, do you feel like going every day? No, I certainly do not. Certainly not in the winter. I drag my old body into the cold water, and I'm thinking, Delroy, why are you doing this? But you know, by the time I'm finishing the session, getting towards the shower, I'm so glad I've spent the time in the water. It sets me up for the day. It doesn't have to be swimming. It could be go for a walk, you go for a run, go for a bike ride, anything that really kind of motivates you, part of your goal. You do it so often, it becomes a part of who you are. So accountability. So track your events, accountability buddy, or you find a coach. Listen, your life is too important just to let it go just like that. Make the investment in a coach, or if not, make the investment in group coaching. If there's some of you who've got kind of very, very similar goals, but maybe you can't afford a coach on one-to-one, so why not see if you can, maybe half a dozen of you get a coach where you can do group work together. So there's 2 things. It's less, but also, it's financially less, but also you've got a group who you can support and help each other when you're going through difficult times in trying to pursue your goals. I said I was going to be 20 minutes, and that's pretty much what we're doing. So if you learn to listen to your own inner voice, your own inner musing, you may have a much more effective 2024. If you listen, and this is so true, if you listen, you will know what to do. And you'll know what to do because you know that it's right. Recently, I had to write a long letter to an organization, and I wrote it, and my friend, I gave it to him to look at, and he emailed me and he says, Delroy, you didn't even ask me about my opinion because you know what you're doing is the right thing to do. And sometimes we have to make those tough calls because we know it's the right thing to do. So, as Sonia said, start from now, build your plan up over the next, there's no rush. Take the time out to listen to what your inner voice might be saying, impulses might be saying. Is there a thought you've had throughout the year but you've dismissed it? Maybe that thought is trying to get your attention. So be intentional about change, and maybe don't start the New Year's resolution until January the 31st. So you spend maybe from now leading up to the new year, and you spend January putting things together. It might not be perfect, it doesn't have to be, but you've got a general idea where you're going. Focus on one thing from, say, February through to if it's 3 months, you focus on, you begin February, March, April. So April, May time, you focus on it, reflect on it, review it regularly. And each time you review it, there's something that will emerge. So you tweak it, you get a bit better. I will guarantee you, if you do that, December the 31st, 2024 will be significantly different. Will it be perfect? No. There'll be obstacles, there'll be difficulties, but because you're focused and you've got a plan, a flexible plan, sometimes the obstacles are barriers that get in the way for you to step on to propel you forward. Obstacles doesn't mean that you need to stop. It just means stop for a moment, rethink, reshape, and continue going. Obstacles do not tell you to stop, but just keep going. Listen, enjoy the rest of your evening and the rest of the year. It's been a real pleasure serving you this year. Please, if you're on YouTube, subscribe, like, subscribe. But also, if there's any topic you want me to look at, please let me know, either through Facebook, DM me on Messenger. Somebody some time ago contacted me on LinkedIn to do some stuff around betrayal. That has been one of the best series I have ever done. I did the series in July. Even now, people are still commenting on the articles I wrote, on the videos that I've done. So I'm really wanting to serve you the best I can. So please let me know if there's something you've been wrestling with, something you want to know more about. Please let me know. Do you know? I'll also be honest with you. You know, I can think of loads of things, but if I'm given a topic and I don't know anything about it, for me, it's a journey of discovery and excitement. So please challenge me, give me an idea, or a topic to look at, because I really want to help people as best as I can. Listen, enjoy the rest of this evening, the rest of the Christmas series, the rest of the Christmas period. The broadcast on this January the 2nd will be recorded because I will be traveling and I won't be home in time. So that's it. Enjoy the rest of your time, and please, if you want to DM me, please do. Where you can like and subscribe, please do. If you found this helpful, please share this with individuals, share this with organizations, share this with managers, share it with your work colleagues and your friends, and let's see what happens. The year is yet to unfold. That's, for me, that's part of the excitement. I've been saying to folks, all the best for 2024, a year that's unknown and is yet to unfold, and it will unfold, and we can be ready to meet it. Wish you well, take care, enjoy the rest of the evening. Apologies, I went over by 4 minutes. You can slap my wrist next time you see me. Wish you well, take care, and speak to you soon. Bye-bye.